Hello everyone, my name is Fonian and welcome back to another episode of Random Indie Game. So today we're going to play I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. It's like a role-playing game. Think of it like a D&D. Yeah, I think like comparing it to D&D is like the closest comparison because there is like a lot of like branching narrative in here. Oh my god. And I've been playing this for like 2 days right now, and I have to say, like, I enjoyed every second of it. There's like so much things that you want to do. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. Alright, so we're going to start with the wake up. You are born on the colony ship Stratospheric on year 12 of its 22-year voyage to the Xiao Wolf anomaly at the edge of the solar system. Your parents run the hydroponic gardens which make fresh air and veggies for the ship. They're good, honest homesteader. Like the other 100 colonists on board, they bravely chose to make this one-way journey to the uncharted planet Vertumna 4. They name you, so you can actually put your own name here, but basically this is our dad and this is our mom. Both of them are absolute units, and both of them are actually really humble. Alright, so I'm going to call myself Solana. And I'm going to play as a female protagonist here, so you're a bright-eyed baby with an active imagination. Over the years on the ship, you'll come to identify as a girl. But you can also choose like non-binary if you swing that way, but alright, I'm going to go with the girl. Your gender actually doesn't affect anything, I think, because we haven't got into like the romance part just yet. Okay, so you have vivid dreams every night of things you've never experienced. Dirt under your feet, skies overhead, endless jungles, and strange animals. You wonder if this is what awaits you on Vertumna. By age 6, your parents see the first signs of the genetic enhancement they gave their daughter. Alright, so okay, here we're going to choose our stats. Sure, let's go with Absorbent Brain because I want to be big smart. Alright, so we have some friends in this colony, so here they are, some of them. Children absorb new information at an incredible rate, which slows down as their brain become more efficient and neural pathways are fixed in place. But not for you. You're always learning and your curiosity knows no end. The other kids have trouble keeping up with you, but one tries. So here we're going to choose our best friend. It actually doesn't matter because you only add the relationship by 1. So Anemone is this girl over here. She is very sporty. Cal is like a cool kid thing, you know. He kind of rides hoverboard around. Mars is bold and confident. I guess that's one way to put it, but she's also like a bully though. This is like a rebellious emo kid that you have. Tangent is actually this sister, and she is like the smart and biological genius. And there is Tammy. Tammy is actually like the sweet girl, and I think I'm going to go with Tammy for this one. Yeah, Tammy is actually really cute. You're 10 years old when the ship finally enters Xiao Wolf anomaly. You've learned all about it in class. A wormhole, like a doorway to other star systems. The planet Vertumna 4 is on the other side. You run emergency drills for months to prepare. When the day finally comes, you hurry to put on your spacesuits and gather near the emergency escape pods, just in case. Your parents are already there. It's going to be fine, Solana. Your dad soothes. We'll be through the wormhole and down on the planet before you know it, just like we've practiced. Your mom gives him a sharp, worried look. But we don't. A sudden shockwave hit the ship. You hear an impossibly loud crunch and feel weightless for just a moment before gravity slams you back against the wall. You blacked out. You find yourself in a place you know from your dreams. Tilt fields, dramatic ridges, and a stranger, but also not a stranger, grinning as she grabs your hand. Hurry up! I'm not going to let you miss this! So this is basically our visions of the future. So apparently, we kind of remember from the previous loops, and the game kind of explains you because you are like tethered to the black hole, and things around black hole usually has some messed up time and space kind of thing, so somehow you remember every single one of it, and this is basically what happens when you get a good ending. So alright, remember that woman over there, and then you're back. Your head feels funny and your vision swims in front of you, but you're pretty sure the shaking has stopped. Your head buzzes like it's full of bees. You have this strange feeling, an out-of-time feeling. You were there. The dream was real, and now you're back here, back on the ship. You try to piece your thoughts together through the dizziness. Okay, so remember Mars? Yeah, this girl actually looks similar to the girl from the dream, right? Yeah, that's because she is, actually. And it's not a spoiler though. The kids' faces and then their grown-up faces are actually displayed in the Steam store page, so that's not a spoiler. Mars waves a hand in front of your face. Hey Solana, we made it through! Stop spacing and come look! You clumsily unbuckle your harness and follow her to a porthole. You feel a sense of deja vu, that you've done this before and you know exactly what you're about to see. Outside, the stars have returned. You see Vertumna system's blue and yellow suns, and looming beneath you, the fuchsia-tinted planet Vertumna 4. Just as you expected, because you've seen this moment before, in your dreams. The buzzing in your head reaches a crescendo as your vision fades to gray, and you slip sideways. Alright, let's start our life. So for this demo, we're going to have 9 months of preparation, and this game can be split into like several stages. Basically, from now on, we're going to have these like free roaming stages, and then we have to either do something productive, either go to class, or we can just explore things a bit, or maybe take some part-time work here and there. And it's going to skip through every single events. And in between those events, we can actually interact with all of our friends and do some things, really. Alright, so Tammy has just greeted us. Oh! Tammy jumps as you step out, the ship's quarter behind her. You're awake! You've been asleep in medbay for days. Are you all better? You rub your eyes. You do feel groggy. Everything is so strange. The air is warm and humid, and the ground is covered with pale blue powder that crunches under your feet. You squint and look up, then almost fall over from the vertigo. The sky goes on forever. Your heart pounds in your chest. You better go see your dad, Tammy says, worried. She points southeast towards some geodesic domes. Alright, so we're going to talk to our father. And the place in this game is not really that big, so these free roaming stages are, I think, just like in between the text that you're going to read, basically. So let's talk to our dad. Solana! Your dad gives you a big warm hug. I'm so happy you're finally awake. Dr. Instance thought it'd be best to keep you asleep while your noggin healed. Your mother and I thought you might sleep away the whole year, my snoozy little gooseberry. He shakes your head and looks relieved. He was clearly very worried about you, but covered it with jokes and smiles. Aw, you love your dad. Welcome to Vertumna, he says, gesturing around you. You've seen the stratospheric from the outside, except in pictures. The ship has been separated in two, and parts taken off to form other buildings and a big wall around the whole colony. The alien jungle creeps right up to the wall. Only the geodesic greenhouses pass outside it, dotting their way up the hill. It's beautiful. I'm glad you agree, he says. Your mother and I, we've been waiting a long time to see grass and trees again, even if they are purple, he laughs. Oh, before I forget, he pulls a package out from his satchel and hands it to you. You blink and stare at it blankly. Do you know what day it is? He asks. You honestly don't. You remind him that you've been asleep for the past week. Happy birthday! He shouts and hugs you. Your birthday already? You feel a dizzying sense of deja vu. You stare at the wrap package, hard. You know exactly what's in there. You remember it. No, you dream about this package some years ago on this ship. Inside will be a small medallion in the shape of a sun that your dad whittled from a piece of alien wood. We can actually tell him that we know what's inside of it, but trust me, things like that usually don't go well, and people will just going to assume that you're a loco, so this time I'm going to keep everything to myself. We're going to be like a savior, and we're going to work in the background, like a Batman. Sure. Alright, so here when we choose this, we're going to get this bonus stats. Don't mind this yet because this is going to be relevant later. But for now, we're going to open the package. How? How did you know this? It's exactly as you imagined, as you dreamed. A feeling of panic rises in your throat. Your hand shakes. But how? Your dad notices. Are you okay, Solana? He snaps his finger. Dr. Instant shouldn't have let you out so early. Sometimes those sleeping meds take a while to wear off. They might make your head feel funny for a few hours. You nod. Maybe that's all it is. Someone shouts your dad's name. Listen, I'm so sorry, Solana, he says. But I have to get back to work. There was an accident before we landed and he stops himself. Don't worry, we're going to fix it. Your mother and I. Professor Hall is expecting you in classes if you are feeling up to it. He points west to the engineering wing in the rear end of the bisected ship. Then he points to the large door you came out earlier. Or you can relax in your quarters until you're feeling better. We'll talk later tonight. He kisses the top of your head and ruffles your hair. Have a wonderful birthday, Solana. Unlock classes in engineering and relaxing in the ship's quarter. Okay, so there are multiple activities that we can do here. So let me tour this place a little bit because the game doesn't actually gives you like a clear things that you can do here. So this is like the commanding bay. Here you can basically take a job of delivering stuff, and this is going to require strength though. And this stuff is the place where it came from. This is the lounging area. Basically, if we want to rest here or take care of other kids as a part-time job, we're going to go here. It's going to recover your stress level out here. So every time you take a break, then your stress level is going to go down. Now, if your stress level goes very up here at 100, you cannot actually do anything and you're forced to rest. But there are also like different things that you can do to lower your stress. I mean, like you can play with your friends, you can do something else to just recover this. This is the classroom, so it's like a rocket thing here. And once we enter there, we can choose like what classes we want to take. Though canonically, we actually take all the classes. Yeah. So, and this is, I think, the combat thing. For this demo though, because we are so young, we are not allowed to take any jobs in basically like defending the colony. There is this place over here on the right, which is the farming houses, so we can go ahead and go here to help our parents plant more seeds and basically doing gardening stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There is actually one more thing that we can do though. Starting from like the second month, this door is going to open and we can actually sneak out from the colony. And it's not actually that dangerous though. It is just like forbidden for kids to actually go out without supervision, you know, like normal parents should do, right? And yeah. And you might also notice that there are two guys here that we already met in the intro there. So from time to time, some of your friends actually is going to stay in front of these buildings. And because, I forgot your name again, Anemone? Yeah. Hiya, Solana. Anemone seems really at home here. She is rolling a sports ball around with her feet, making patterns in the weird blue snow. This stuff is different from snow on Earth, she tells you. Because it isn't cold, but it's still neat and you can make stuff out of it. Your foggy head clears a little. Anemone is simple, physical, real. You always feel grounded near her. What are you making? Just snow spirals, she says. But earlier, me and Cal made a big snow pal, while you were sleeping in a med bay. I'm glad you're awake now, so we can play. Why aren't you in school? She smacks her forehead. School! I wonder where everybody was. I guess I'm gonna be late for engineering class. She doesn't look very worried to you. It's okay. Professor Hall is chill. He won't mind. But we should probably go now. Alright. But before we talk there is this one. His name is Dis, and he is an emo kid. So... you see Dis sitting on the ground beside some bushes. Is he hiding from somebody? He seems to be watching the gate in the wall to the south, where grown-ups are coming and going. Kids aren't allowed to pass the walls, he says quietly, without looking up. They say there's nothing to be afraid of, but then why do you need walls? You stare at the gate and have a sudden rush of memory so strong that you think you might faint. You imagine something crashing through the wall, something enormous and dark and wrinkly. Again, this is a vision from the future. For years in space, you've half-remembered nightmares of monsters, of a ship being destroyed, or sifting through wreckage that used to be your home, trying to find something. Your dad always told you the dreams weren't real. Breaking from your daydream, this whispers, "I think there are monsters out there." Yeah, our parents will keep us safe, for now. Maybe, this mumbles. He looks down at his feet. If you believe everything they say, I guess you should go to school now like a good girl. You shake your vision from your head. Just a dream. This must have made you imagine it with his creepy talk. Why does he always have to be that way? Alright. So yeah, he's basically trying to get out from this compound and skip classes. There is actually like no punishment for you to skip classes, but you are recommended to not do that. If that makes sense. Alright. So as I said before, we can choose what classes we can take here. So it's warm and stuffy in the engineering wing. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, where the ship's engines run continuously to provide power to the colony. Other corridors lead off to the teaching labs and med bay. You know the route to the classroom well, but the rest of the wing is off limit to children. Okay, so life science is basically like biology and stuff like that. Engineering is basically all about machines, technology. Humanities is about basically history, character building, and things like that. So I am going to take engineering. Yeah, I think I'm going to take engineering for this one. Professor Hall wraps his hand together as he waits for the class to settle down. He's in a great mood. This must be his favorite subject to teach. If biology and chemistry are wet science, then engineering must be a dry one. But believe me, this class definitely won't be dry. We also be learning math, physics, computing, robotics, architecture, and astronomy. Tang raises her hand. So this is Tang. This is this sister, and she is a smart kid. Will we also learn about nuclear engineering? She asked. Professor Hall notes. Yes, although at beginner level, we'll have an overview of atomic theory and take a field trip to the engine room to learn how our ship nuclear reactor works to power the colony. But first, let's say hello to... Hi kids! A ship's computer Congruence glides into the room on her ceiling track. The class cheers. Congruence is so cool. She's like a person, but also a machine. She knows a lot of jokes and can tell you anything about space. You all know me, she says, but I'll bet some of you have questions about how I work. What do you want to know? So she's an AI, so let's ask about, how do you know so many things? My brain, she explains, is big. It's just enormous, really. Much bigger than this little monitor you see here. And it's connected to the ship's holonet, so anything you can look up on your holopalms, I just know. Congruence explained that she had to do all kinds of calculations to help fly the ship and land it, and that she was designed to provide a user-friendly interface to the ship's system. But Hall has modded me to be far more than that, she says proudly. Now I can even tell jokes! Why did the computer cross the road? She asked. I don't know. Why? Congruence smiled widely. I have learned how to read binary numbers, not letters, so Alright, so because we take classes, then that means we have some stats rising here. So we got, for engineering, 1 bonus, 2 reasoning, and 15 stress. Because learning is stressful. So in D&D, whenever you have to like make a check, like in a decision, you throw dices, right? But in this game, you don't throw dices, you play this card game. So basically the mechanic is quite simple. We need to place the cards so that it matches this number over here. Now, you cannot win them all. There are times where if your hand is actually like very ugly, you cannot actually win. But there is a chance that you can win. So the way that you do that is that each card up here has their own numbers, and each of them actually correspond to a stat. Red is basically strength, and yellow is, I think, empathy, and blue is basically intelligence. So you want to arrange it in the configuration so that they have this kind of combo. So if you ever played poker before, then you will know. So basically, if you have like double, then that's going to give you a bonus. If you have flush, which is like I think like a order of numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's going to give you a bonus as well. If you pair cards with like the same color, that also provides bonus, though not only 2 though. I think like you have to like minimum of 3. And as you progress this, you're going to get cards that are better and better, and some cards actually have some text to it, which means that it has some effects that you can actually put on. And over here, you can see that we have like a bonus stats here. So this is like an equipment that we can equip, and we can change the equipment at any time, but not in this combat though. But okay, because it's like the first combat, still like the tutorial, we managed to reach 6, and now we win. Now, because we win, we have +1 engineering bonus stats, and you work well this week. Nice. Alright, so yeah, comes the nighttime. Your parents have been working from before dawn to well after dinner every day. You know growing food is an important job, but there seems to be something more than that. You stay up and wait for them at night before going to bed, and though you can tell they're exhausted, they try to make an effort for you. I'm sorry we haven't seen much of you, little gooseberry, your dad says kindly. How has your week been? I learned some stuff in school. I'm glad to hear that, your mom says. I want you to study hard, work hard, and stay out of trouble, Solana. Your dad smiles. And Professor Hall will give you kudos if you get good grades. You can spend those at the depot once it's open. You know, says your dad, raising an eyebrow at your mom. I think there are lots of different ways to learn, and school is just one of them. You can learn from working on a hobby or helping a friend. Your mom shakes her head and smiles. Well, at least we both agree that this colony is a grand experiment, and we're going to do things differently than on Earth. You're old enough now to start making your own decisions about your education and future. Right, that is actually like a big thing to give to a 10-year-old. Right now we are actually 10-year-old, by the way. So yeah, sure. I mean, like, this is like an exocolonist, right? So a colony in another planet. So I guess all the normalcy of Earth are going to be thrown out of the window. Well, at least most of them. Your dad puts a hand on your shoulder. We'll be proud of you no matter what you do. Try talking to your friends. They may have ideas for how you can spend your time. And come by geoponics, your mom adds. We could use your help. Unlock shuffling at geoponics. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the month 2. This is like the quiet season. So with every month, this planet actually changes the season. It doesn't quite affect anything though, unfortunately, but I think it's going to be different later on. Alright, I see that Tang here wants to talk to us. Let's see. Tangent is hunched over her holopalm, frowning and poking angrily at the air. She speaks without looking up at you. Professor Hall wants us to prep a list of native flora and pictures. There should be catalog on the colony holonet, but I can't find it anywhere. I'll help you find that catalog. You launch your own holopalm and start searching the colony's holonet archives for a list of autumnal plants and animals. 10 minutes later, you find it buried under survey logistics in the expedition net. So we gain 1 to organization and 1 friendship with Tang. Nice. Anemone passes by and pulls a face at 2 of you. Hey, holo nerds! She shouts. Quit with the schooling and come play sports ball in the sunshine! Tang just rolls her eyes. Alright, so now let's speak to you then. Anemone is bumping sports ball with her wrist, trying to keep it in the air. Heads up! She shouts and bumps the ball in your direction. So okay, again, like any RPG, so in order to choose this, you need to have toughness of 15. This is actually pretty easy if you choose super strength at the beginning stats, but for now, because we don't have toughness, we actually have to work it out. From my experience, on playing this game on 3 separate playthroughs before I start recording, it's better for you to just focus on maximum of like 2 stats. Because if you have too many stats, your deck is going to be clumped up. And you may remember that I did tell you that having like the same color in your like those battle arrangements is going to give you extra bonuses. Now, if you have like too much of a color or like too much variations, then that's going to disrupt your card draw. Because you only draw your card 3 times maximum, and you cannot actually like reshuffle them. So if on like a stupid luck you didn't actually get like a lot of cards, you get like cards with like low value, like 0 for example, 0, 1 or 2, then it's going to be bad for you, especially when they are like separated in like different colors at all. So yeah, I think for this playthrough I'm going to focus on engineering, I guess, or maybe I'm going to change it later, I don't know. Alright, let's bounce it back, and we got some toughness. You bounce the ball back and forth with her, trying to see how many times you can rally and keep it going. Anemone tells you about the new sports ball court, a proper regulation-sized court, way bigger than the little 0G one on the stratospheric. Her older brother Com is coaching the junior sports ball team this year. He's so great, she says. He's good at everything, especially spiking. He's coaching me to play awesome like him. You should come join us. Unlock sports ball job at the garrison. Oh, you can actually interact with the sports ball job. Interesting. So I might check it out later. Right, I see Tammy over here, our friend. You see Tammy sitting quietly near the entrance to the lounge. You've known her for, well, your whole entire life. Back on the ship, you... Okay, so here we have to choose our backstory. Basically, Tammy is like a, you know, those like shy little kid who can only like, who has like no strength, no bravery at all, and people kind of like to pick on her. So I'm going to say I'm used to play with her. Tammy has the best doll collection. After her mom died, oh my lord, why start with this? Why start with like after her mom died? Oh my lord. Her dad used all his nanoprinter creds to print her a different doll every month for a whole year. Her ears perk up when she sees you. Oh, hello Solana, she says softly. Do you want to play dolls? You sure do. You don't think Tammy will ever be too old to play with dolls. If anything, she has even more of them now. She takes you to her quarters and brings out the entire Spacey Stacy dolls collection, a disturbingly realistic baby with a real bowel movement, and 2 super fancy poseable dolls named Lily and Tilly, who can be programmed to move on their own. Tammy isn't very good at programming, so Lily and Tilly just roll around awkwardly when you turn them on. You cover quickly by saying they must be breakdancing at a club. The two of you spend the afternoon making up stories of their uses, or their rise to stardom as professional dancers. It's kinda sweet. Alright, let's move on to another kid. I think, oh, there's our mom here. You find your mom hard at work building a greenhouse with a small construction crew. These geodesic domes will house the more delicate plants we brought from Earth. Things like spinach and tomatoes, whatever, and fruit. You're really looking forward to fruit. She paused and took a swig from the flask of water. Well, Solana, I hope you remember that you're responsible for your own schedule now that you've landed. Your father and I trust you to decide how to spend your time, so long as it's productive. She points toward the engineering wing in the back half of the stratospheric severed frame. Your Professor Hall is still expecting to see you in class, but a well-rounded education should include practical application too. You're old enough to know how to work. You might even earn some kudos at it. Alright, I've got a minute. What do you want to know more about? Okay, so here here like the explanation of all the things that I already told you guys, so I'm going to just skip that. Okay, Solana, work hard. Alright, so here is our dad. Hello, my little potato. Your dad smiles warmly. What have you been up to today? Just hanging out with my friends. That's called a good boy, he says. An ain't spunky kid, Anemone. I've seen her out by the garrison playing sports ball. I think she's been spending every day outside since we landed. He breathes deeply and looks slowly around. Vertumna is magnificent, isn't it? Seasons, he shouts, throwing his hands wide. I miss seasons! Back on Earth, it used to get so cold that water froze. Here in the quiet season, it only snows blue bromide salts from the upper atmosphere. But I still think it looks pretty, don't you? But so warm and tropical, he sighs, stretching. And you just wait until dust season, both the suns will be high in the sky and it's be real hot then. And all plans will change, he says enthusiastically. You'll see. Alright, so let's talk to Kyle here. Kyle is riding around the geoponic gardens on his hoverboard. The board comes to a sudden shuddering stop on the rocky ground in front of you. Kyle falls off but catches his balance. Hi Solana. Real ground is way harder to hover on than ship floors. There are bumps everywhere. Yeah, that sucks. Oh, no way! Hovering outside is rad. Look at this. He looks over to a small depression in a nearby hill and presents it like it's something amazing. Look at this! It's a skateball! Cool, can I try? Sure, but please be careful. Mom says if I break my hoverboard, we can make another one. You take turns riding around the ball, trying to get up enough speed going down one side to come back on the other. You don't land any tricks. It's hard just staying out on the board with an uneven ground, but it's still fun. We gain some toughness and one friendship with Cal. Nice. Alright, we can also talk to this girl over here, Mars. Her sharp whistles interrupt your thought. I cannot actually make whistles, so skip that. Hey Zelena, Mars calls out to you. Come here, I have a job for you. You walk over to Mars, who is fanning himself in the shade of the ship. It's so hot out there, she complains. At least on the ship we had climate control. Ugh. Tam is making me some soy sweets, but there is no way of moving from this spot, she continues. Go get them for me, would you? I know she's just down the hill, but honestly, I'd rather someone else do it. Okay, let's be errand girl then. Good, Mars exclaims. Run along then, she is probably near our quarters, considering she hasn't moved more than 10 meters from the door since we landed. Mars rolls her eyes. A whole planet to colonize, and she wants to sit at home and make sweets. Incredible. Alright, let's do this little quest. I'm going to take from you. Emmy is staring obliviously in the sky, smiling to herself. She startles as you approach. Oh, hello Solana, she says, putting her hand to her chest. Do you need anything? Do you need something? I'm here for Mars soy sweets. Emmy smiles at you. Oh, it's so nice for you to help out Mars. She's a very important person, you know. She hands you a box wrapped in a pink and yellow scarf. One order of mango soy sweets made fresh this morning, she says. Please tell Mars that she can have the scarf back, okay? She used some of her kudos to nanoprint it for me because it's so dusty here. But I think I'm getting used to it now. Tammy smiles again and tucks her hair behind her big elven ears. Mars is so cool, she says fondly. I mean, sometimes she can be kinda mean. Really mean, actually. But I can tell that she really cares too. As I said, I love this girl. So, if you ask me, like, my favorite girls here are basically Tang, of course, because she is smart, and I kinda like her hairstyle here. But of course, like, the waifu material here is basically Tammy, right? Tammy is just so sweet, but she needs to work on her courage though, because, you know, she is, as Mars says, she doesn't even, like, dare to actually move away from this one. Kids are allowed to roam around this these places as long as they don't cross these walls, which kind of segues nicely into this guy over here. Oh, you found me. It's adjusting better than you expected to life on the surface. He's already found some new places to hide and do whatever he does here by himself. So yeah, he is kind of like a rebellious kid, you know, that's those kind of like emo kid, and yeah, he's basically wandering around doing what he wants. Alright, Mars put her hands out expectantly. Give it here. I'm going to be an asshole here, and I'm going to do this. I ate them. You did what? Make Mars tricks. Those were mine! Demi made them for me! She crosses her arms and huffs at you. I knew you wouldn't be good at delivery, she says. I told Seek as much when they asked if I knew anyone who wanted to work at the depot. Mars gestured to the door behind her. I think they're still looking for people. If you want to make it up to me, she says, tell Seek I revert you so I get the kudos. Just try not to eat your next delivery, nullhead. Unlock delivery job. So I get some stats from there, and if you actually just give it to her, she doesn't actually like give you any stats. She just gives you like friendship points. And by the way, you can actually check your friendship points over here. So here we can actually like reset our like appearances. We can go with like the she or he pronouns, and I can just like slide my my genders over here and switch them at any time, so it's okay. And here we can see our relationship. So, oh, this is our mother's name, Flulu and Geranium. Going deep on the plants, right? Oh, we can actually make relationship with congruence? That's interesting. So for now, we only make relationship with Cal, Tang, and Tammy. So yeah, maybe we want to just go out. Yeah, sure, let's go out, right? Let's break the rules. Nobody tell us what to do. Okay, you step cautiously through the colony gates, knowing full well that you aren't allowed to be out here. Nobody noticed you in the hub of activity around the expedition's office. It's a little more than a simple pavilion filled with desks and surveying equipment. You see Chief Surveyor Mel, yeah. Chief Surveyor Mel talking to someone nearby. Mel is Tammy's dad, and he is basically in charge of the entire world outside the colony. Okay, that's kind of like an irony. Your dad is basically leading the entire expeditions, and your daughter doesn't even step like 10 steps outside the dwelling place. So you're definitely not allowed to leave this colony, and you could get in a lot of trouble for it. But you think you could slip out and nobody will notice. Alright, so let's just look at the map over here. So this is basically what the game is all about. So in the final version of the game, I think all of these areas are going to be unlocked. But right now we are only allowed to be around the home area. And also in this area later on. So yeah, that's cool. And now I can look at the bestiary. So there, we only know these two things over here. And we can go ahead and look at the... yeah, let's just go ahead and sneak out and explore. Sure. And by doing this exploration, we actually managed to just skip the day, basically. Yeah, so there are like objects that we can collect later on, and that is actually quite important because objects that you collect in this area is actually one of the good cards that you can get. So I guess you are kind of like encouraged to at least sneak out just once. You slip through the gates and out of the colony before anyone sees you. Anyone, that is, except for a dark form watching you from the terrace nearby. Could that be... is that this? It turns and disappears into the jungle. Now you're sure of it, that was definitely this. What is he doing out here? He's not allowed outside the colony either. Yeah, I'm not going to shout his name, that's going to get both of us in trouble, so let's just follow him. And I'm going to get some stress from that. You scamper after him through the brush, heedless of the branches and brambles scraping at your arms and legs. Without a proper enviro suit, you get all scratched out. I get some perception from that. This kid is fast. You quickly lose sight of this and can find his trail again, but you do learn something by trying. Alright, so now we are outside the colony, and we are basically free to explore things around here. Now I'm going to... okay, here it is, one of them. Okay, I just collect some mushwood. That's nice. And oh, what is this? You get all up close and personal with little wrigglers and snaily things. Crouching in the long grass and exploring a square meter in great details. There is so much to see. Okay, let's touch one. Ew, you touched it! One bravery. That's nice. So what else can we find here? Oh, that's this over there. Aha! You spot this sitting in the clearing, and this time he knows he's been spotted. He just stays there as you approach, like it's totally natural that he'd be sitting in the middle of the jungle so far away from the colony walls. Now that you think about it, you're a little glad to see him. You are so far away that you can't see the walls anymore, and it's really weird out here, and it's getting late. Hi Solana, he says. Hi Des. He seems to be in a good mood, something you see very rarely. Did you see Utopia out there? Des asks. Chief Surveyor Mel is easy to sneak past, but Utopia has like X-ray vision eyes or something. She'll catch you for sure if you get too close. She caught me once and I got in trouble. How about I show you something cool, and sneaking out will be our secret, okay? He jumps up and walks a little way into the trees. You follow. Okay, just a few minutes away from the ground drops off and a large stone outcrop leans out over a cliff face. This walks right to the edge without slowing. It's a long way down. Come on, he says. Alright, so we can try to be brave, and this is going to enter a battle with like a normal amount of bravery. And apparently we don't have any bravery right now, so this is going to be great. But I guess it's better to try, right? So this is quite different from the time where we actually do battles to gain bonus stats. So in this battle, we actually have to get 27, and it's going to be split into like multiple phases. So the goal here is that in this first phases, we want to get as big as possible. Oh boy, we can use this thing. So remember that I told you the guys about like collecting things. So when I collect the items, it's put on this one. But these items over here, they're only like single use. You use them and then they're just gone. Yeah, this is like a very bad hand. Okay, continue. Okay, so now you can see here that the goal has dropped down to 25 because we did 2 previously. And now we have to do this again, but this time with like 4 slots. Remember, we still have 1 more trials after this. And then after that, if we lose, then we lose. Okay, first card gets +1, last card gets -1, last card get +1. Okay, so maybe I want to put this one then. Alright, that gives me, okay, so because this is like an order, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's a flush, and that's going to give me bonus point of 6. And because there's this cards, yeah, you basically get like, you get the idea, right? Yeah. Okay, now I have to strike 13, and I think it's kinda impossible with this one. Maybe I could? Like that, perhaps? It's really hard though. Oh, that's actually so close. Alright, I think I'm going to use this. There you go. Okay, victorious. Nice. Okay, so now because we're successful there, so that means we can do this act. You bravely step onto the rock and walk out to the edge with this. You both sit down, feet dangling over the precipice, and looks out into the amazing view. It's incredible. You snap a picture with your holopalm, but you won't share it on the net. This is your secret. Yours and this. So that's -5 stress and 1 perception. Nice. Okay, let's keep exploring. Because there are like some other items that we can get here. One of them is here. Medicinal roots. Sure. But you may also... Oh, what is this? Ahead of you, the road curves right, and there's a steep hill leading up to the left. You bet there is a really great view from on top of it, but it's going to be a scramble to get there. Sure, let's hike up it. More stress. You leave your park in some bushes at the base so you'll be lighter on your feet, then start the trek. It's tiring, and even steeper than it looked from the bottom, but some broad mushroom-capped trees provide shade. Oh, got 1 perception, nice. The view from the top is spectacular. You can see all the way to the colony walls in one direction, and down to a little sawmill in the other. Then you spot it, the rock, the most perfect boulder you've ever seen, teetering right on the edge of the slope you just climb out. It's almost tall, and you are... it's almost tall as you are and must weigh at least 2,000 kilos. But it's practically teetering there, and you think with enough muscle you can push it over. Yeah, let's not do that. Somebody is going to get hurt. Not today, Rock. Not today. Yeah, somebody is going to get hurt for that. I'm not going to just like drop rocks on someone. You know. Alright. Let's see if we have any other items around here, perhaps. Down here. Oh, what is this? You leave a path and sneak through the strand of mush trees to a sawmill. It's a small but busy operation. 3 people feeding a mushroom logs into some kind of machine, while a 4th one directs a 4-legged robot with a plasma saw mounted on the front. So yeah, sure, let's stay and watch. You see how they choose which trees to cut and how they do it. When one tree crashes down, it seems like the others are wincing to you. It's probably just imagination though. They aren't planting new ones or leaving any behind. You know the mush trees regrow every year, but can they still regrow when you cut down everything like this? Even with the smaller trees and bushes are getting ground up for mulch with a scary big grinder that sounds like a roaring beast. The entire process makes you uneasy, but also proud of how industrious your colony is. Alright, more loyalty and more perception. Nice. Yeah, let's just try with this one. Hello? Okay, you spot Surveyor Utopia on the path. It looks like she's setting some kind of equipment. If she catches you sneaking out, you'll be in trouble for sure. You step on a branch and Utopia head flies up. She scans the trees in your direction. Try to sneak past her. Oh, a battle impossible? Perception. Yeah, I don't have any perception though, so this is going to be a problem. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it, sure. Okay, okay, 40. That's impossible. That's impossible. Yeah, with our current cards right now, that's actually impossible. That's just 8. Maybe like something like this. Yeah, it kind of like a pairs up. Alright, and then first card get +2. Yeah, that's not going to work. Alright, for a brief moment you taste glory, freedom. Then Utopia leaps from behind a tree and grabs you by the back of the shirt. I mean, she's kind of beautiful though, I have to say. Gotcha, she smiles. Looks like wild game. You're Solana, right? You hang your head in defeat, captured by the enemy. Utopia marches you back to the autobus and travels with you all the way back to the colony. I mean, we're gonna going home anyway, so it's fine. And she hands you off to the chief surveyor Mel, and your dad, both looks horrified. What were you thinking, Solana? Your dad pleads with you. You know it's dangerous out there. Mel looks stricken. There are signs posted. We would never have let her sneak out if we'd known. It's really no place for kids. And by the way, a spoiler here. Basically, if you go home without being found out by this girl, he is going to just find out anyway, so it's fine. Actually, Utopia sort of mumbles, she seems to be doing pretty well out there. The other two glares at her. Oh, we actually get a lot of stress from that, and 1 rebellion, and -10 kudos. Right. You are, needless to say, grounded for the rest of the week, and the foreseeable future. You won't be able to do much but hang out in your quarters and relax. Oh well. Okay, returning from sneaking out. Alright, this week you had a few more bouts of deja vu, remembering what somebody is about to say or do just before they do it. Sometimes it happens, but not always. This morning you were sure Professor Hal was going to trip on the uneven floor in the cafeteria and spill his plates of hash browns, but he didn't. You even told Mars to watch. Afterward, she called you a liar and a dummy. At night, your dreams are all mixed up with the stuff that you know couldn't be real, like monsters the size of buildings, and strange people you've never met but seem so familiar. But what if those things just haven't happened yet, but they will someday? Anytime you try to tell someone, they think you're playing a trick, or that you're sick and need to go to medbay. You have decided to stay quiet about your strange dreams because secret powers are cool. You start keeping a private journal on your holopalm, recording the events where you remember something before it happens. You also write down your dreams when they have the feeling of being real. You like the idea of being magic and seeing the future, but some of those dreams are very scary. You hope that, like Professor Hal's spilled hash brown, they don't all come true. Alright. Okay, so right now we are at pollen season. So basically all the mushrooms in this planet just spread their pollens out. And apparently their pollens are not that dangerous though, so that's good. Solana, Tangent approached you with purpose. We need to discuss my brother. Who? This? Yes, this, she says impatiently. I need you to figure out where he's been disappearing to. Ever since we landed, he doesn't even come home at night sometimes, and She looks at her feet. Well, I'm not on very good terms with my brothers of late, but our mother is worried. You get the feeling Tang is the one who's worried, but she doesn't want to admit it. Alright, let's just... Yeah, she can actually keep secrets, so let's just tell her. I know where he goes. You tell her this has been sneaking out to explore the jungle. Not far away, but outside the walls. Tang looked concerned. Is he safe? I'll keep him safe. She eyes you skeptically. You're just a kid, but I guess it's good to know he isn't alone out there. Thanks, Solana. I'll tell my mom this is fine. She doesn't need to know the whole truth, okay? Alright.